Hello, beautiful people. Welcome. If this is your first time here, welcome back. If you are a returning supporter, I hope the fan isn't as loud as it seems to be. Um, Thank you for joining me for Sunday night dinner and convo. Tonight's conversation is surrounding your baggage, unpacking your baggage. It's hot, so I do have a towel. There will be some sweat. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and get my disclaimers out the way while we go ahead and get this all together. Y'all know I got some last minute things. My every time I get ready to go live, something always falls every time. So this time, um, hopefully the thing has already failed. Hopefully, the fan was the first thing to fall, so we good. Um, Disclaimers: I do not tolerate disrespect in any way, shape, form, or fashion that is towards me or towards anyone that is in the chat, anyone that appears on the screen. I don't tolerate it. If it's 2022 and you survived a global fucking pandemic and you decide you want to come over here and be petty or messy or whatever, listen, you wasting your time. Go ahead about your business and do something else. There will be cuss words. There will possibly be tears. My voice will go in and out. Hi, Cash. My voice will go in and out because if you've been, following me or caught alive or any time, um, I'm currently experiencing vocal paralysis. So there's that. You're probably like, why are you talking? Because I'm not going to just sit around and wait for my voice to go out. If it do go out, I'm going to talk. I'm going to do what I love to do. Let's see what else. I am not a mental health professional. I am not a licensed therapist, a psychologist, or any one of those things. I am just one woman willing to share my personal experiences so that you will know two things. One, you are not alone, and two, you can overcome anything that life presents to you. Um, I think that's about it. Yeah, so I do write notes. Let me tell you, I be having these podcast ideas. I got like enough podcast ideas for the rest of the year. And so I be writing them down. I be writing notes, but then I realize once I be talking, I just get to talking. I try to glance down at my notes. I do have notes. I do take notes. I do take notes on things, on topics, so I could try to stay on topic. But sometimes, thank you for the follow. CSG. Thank you to my CSG fam for the love and support. I appreciate that. Tonight we're going to talk about unpacking your baggage, emotional baggage. Hi, Tamika. I am doing well. I am doing well. First, before I get off into the to that conversation, let me tell you all. I think when I'm do videos, or when I come back to doing videos, or come back to doing lives like regular, like I was, I'm gonna start talking about all of the positive things that has happened. So yesterday I celebrated 3 months of recovery. It's been 3 months since I had my surgery, March the 18th. Unpacking baggage is kind of wrapped up in here. Um, it's been 3 months. Yesterday, I experienced a full circle moment. I did say it was going to be tears. I gave y'all the disclaimer already. Yesterday, I experienced a full circle moment. I had the opportunity to speak on a panel with some very, 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 I'm putting emphasis on very, like these people done traveled around the world. They done booked some Trey Songz, Fat Joe, T. They done booked some of the largest people. And then there was me, who's soon to be on that level. I'm soon to be there. Just stick with me. You'll see it. So I spoke on the panel, and it was actually pretty cool. So like I work with music artists all the time, every day, all the time. And so it was actually a music and technology festival. I spoke, and before the panel happened, there was music artists performing. So I'm like, hey, who handles your music administration? If you're a music artist and you don't know what music administration is, That's the cataloging, registration, um, overall paperwork of your music business. That's just in a nutshell. So, and they were like, oh, nobody, I don't even know what that is. Or, they were just telling me those little things. And I was like, hey, here's my information. Let's chop it up after all of this, right? So then the panel happened, and then I'm talking on the panel, and they just like, oh my God, I didn't know. I had no idea, no clue, no, like, you're probably like, yeah, you just said it. No, like for real. Like when it comes to the music business, like a lot of you probably doing YouTube. Hi, hi. You're probably doing YouTube or you're probably streaming on Twitch. You have no idea what you're doing. You just got your camera. It's one of those kind of situations. Like you want to do it, but you don't have an idea of like what it takes to actually be a streamer. You don't have an idea of how much work goes into editing videos. It's one of those kind of things. So full circle moment. One of the people that I was sitting next to was actually an artist I looked up to from here. Like she's traveled, toured the world, got McDonald's commercials, all kinds of stuff. So it was dope actually sitting on the same panel with her. And after it was all said and done, right, I had so many opportunities, so many like great things happened for me, right? And it was a full circle moment because it was 3 months that I've been in recovery. And a lot of the people that was on the panel with, I had already like met like years or a long time ago. And so it was like the way I was introduced to them, I'm now sitting next to them on the panel. I'm telling you, like, but that would not have had, that would not have had happen. Tongue tied. Had I not got out of my comfort zone or had I not unpacked my baggage. One of my baggages was trauma. Like a lot of fucked up shit happened to me in my life, and I carried that. You ever have one of those? Yeah, that shit happened to me, but it's never gonna happen to me again. Moments. It's that when you put that never there, everything you do from that moment, you're going to be trying to protect yourself, right? Yeah, I know we be wanting to protect ourselves, but the reality of it is, oh, you can't. You could try, you could try and try again, but you're not going to be able to protect yourself. So, tonight we're going to talk about unpacking your baggage, whether it's emotions, whether it's attachments, whether it's relationships, stress, secrets, secrets that you've carried around for so long. I wanted to talk about this because I'm like, hey, we are in 2022, right? 2 years we have dealt with the global fucking pandemic. I did say it was gonna be cuss words. The fuck is my favorite word. So hey, we for 2 years we have been dealing with a global fucking pandemic. If you have not made the decision, take some time during this podcast episode to make the decision to choose happiness and peace. Like think about your life right now. Take one moment. Think about your life. You could probably sit there and name like 5, 6, 7, 10 things that was fucked up in your life, right? And now if you think about it, you done woke up on a brand new day. How many of those 10 things carried on into this day? You probably had a disagreement with your significant other, and now y'all sitting in separate rooms, not talking to each other just because of no one wants to compromise, no one wants to let that go, or nobody even want to talk about it. A lot of times people just don't want to talk about it. Part of unpacking your baggage is talking about shit. The reason I have this nurturing conversation, this podcast, is because I realize a lot of people don't like to talk about shit. Most of you will come here and hear me talking about shit, and I hope that as you're hearing me talking about shit, it like triggers something in your mind where it's like, you know what? I do hate them because of whatever, or I do get angry real fast, and this is why. Like, it causes your brain to start thinking about things, right? In order to begin unpacking baggage, you first have to acknowledge that you have baggage. If you have been in a relationship, anyone, I would say anyone that has been in a relationship, you have baggage. Probably like, how the fuck you gonna tell me I got baggage? I told y'all fuck is my favorite word. How you gonna tell me that I got baggage? Listen, if you were in a relationship and that relationship ended, there's baggage because you're like Why did it end? What did I do to make it end? There's so many different questions. There's so many different like scenarios you create in your mind, and now that's baggage. And then when you leave that relationship and you go into another relationship, you have all of these, they like to call them red flags. You're like, you're paying attention, you're looking for these red flags. The moment, the first time someone doesn't answer their phone and you're like, I know they got their phone in their hand all the time. Now you're starting to think, what? They cheated, or they talking to somebody else, or they don't love me anymore, or all of these other things. And what I realized as I'm on a journey of healing and self discovery, what I realized is that those instances where you were in a relationship, you got cheated on, you got broken up with, or you broke up, or you were the one that was cheating, or just y'all just grew apart, right? Those situations that have not been acknowledged will reoccur in your life. Oh, I said reoccur twice. Um, they will continue to happen in your life, especially if you have not resolved them. I don't mean like, oh, let's sit down and powwow resolve them. That's cool too, but a lot of times we have to resolve things within ourselves. Like, why didn't it work? Or why didn't I feel happy in that relationship? Or why don't I feel happy at this job? Why do I continue to go to a job that doesn't make me happy? Why do I continue to put myself in situations where I always end up hurt? That's the part of unpacking baggage, is asking yourself the tough questions. A lot of times in life, we don't want to talk about this, but we'll put it off on our parents, we'll put it off on our person we're in a relationship with, our job. We like to put it off on everybody else. When we take the time to sit down and actually think about it, experience it, feel it, accept it, acknowledge it, and turn away and like go down another track, everything starts and ends with you. You ever heard somebody say, people treat you how you allow them to treat you? Again, that all starts with you. A lot of the baggage that we are carrying around is because of secrets that we keep, secrets about things that happen to us, about things that we've seen, things that we know, things that were told to us. And while we are like trying to be the best friends, daughters, sisters, cousins, aunties, uncles, brothers, whoever you are, you're trying to be that great person. I'm going to be a shoulder. I'm going to be, sometimes in being a shoulder, you're also being a trash can. Sometimes. Sometimes you ever pick up the phone and you be like, I'm starting to realize you don't never call me with anything positive to say. You don't call me to tell me about that job you got. You don't call me to tell me about the business you started. Like, you woke up this morning, you got a new car. Like, there's no positive exchange between the two of us. It's always, he did this, she did this, they said this happened to me, that's fucked up. They don't even, it's always negative. If you hearing my voice right now, start paying attention to the people you talk to. Like, I don't really be on Facebook as much as I used to, because when you start scrolling and you be seeing, like, I deleted all. I cleansed my Facebook, right? I cleansed it. So I like now, like, if I was to go on there, I'll see like people graduating or getting married or having babies. Like, those are positive. Those are exciting things. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to be involved in. Like, people evolving. Like, I don't want to hear about the same. Oh man, you in a relationship. Oh man, every time you talk to me is they didn't do this. They didn't say this. They didn't kiss me. They didn't touch me. They didn't rub me. They didn't buy me this. They didn't. If it's always that, I'm gonna be the type of person to be like, well, why are you still with them? That's the tough question we don't want to ask ourselves, because if you do ask yourself, why am I still in this relationship where I'm not happy? And if you be honest, it's like the other person, who sometimes other people don't make us happy. I'm not saying that people don't, but I'm saying that it starts with you. There's something missing in you that causes you not to be happy. You at your job, your manager talking to you like a child, and you like, but I really need this job because I really need the money. That becomes baggage. You start disrespecting yourself just so that you can get money. Why? I'm gonna say this again. Like, you survived. If you are watching me, if you are listening to me, you survived a global fucking pandemic that took out millions of people. Millions of them. Still to this day, there's like people who suffer with long term effects of that. Then there's all of these other different elements that are out here. You survived that. Are you telling me you survived it to be miserable? You survived it to be like, well, that's just my life. I mean, that's just who I am. I mean, bad shit just happened to me. I would never claim that. I would never claim bad shit just happened to me. Never. When I was growing up and all the bad shit was happening to me, I still miraculously always found something positive to take away from it. Always. I always found something positive. And and when I was going through the situations, I would be like, why the hell can I just be angry? Like, why can't I be angry and be like, fuck you and fuck them and fuck just why couldn't I be angry? And because that wasn't in me. It wasn't in me to be angry. Like I choose. I make the conscious decision to be happy. I make the conscious decision to like see the good in people. Yeah, people do fucked up shit all the time, but I still can see the good in people. And that's what I choose to focus on. And that is what helped me get to the point, like, even when it came to my parents, right? Like, I didn't have a relationship with my parents. I didn't. And that was because I had to unpack traumas. You know, like you experience something, you're young, you're like, oh, I was molested when I was younger, right? And I felt, not while I was younger and it was happening. I was just like, I literally shut down. Like there was nobody I was gonna talk to. I did tell somebody, they didn't do anything about it. They actually like made me feel like shit because it happened to me. And I was just like, what the fuck am I gonna talk for? Why? What I'm gonna tell somebody else for? They not gonna do nothing. And so then when I became an adult, I started to like have bitterness and anger towards a lot of people because it was just like you knew what was going on and you didn't say anything or you didn't even try to protect me. Now I'm looking at you like, okay, you say you love me, but you didn't do anything to help me. And so as I embarked on this journey of healing and self discovery, I began to unpack those things. Like we be thinking that people know, like you know what I'm experiencing, you know what's going on. We think that, like we say that out loud, we think that, but in actuality, unless we open up our mouths and say something, people assume all day. People assume all day, but unless we verbalize what is going on with us, people don't really know. Now, for those of you who be assuming, leap out. I would say leap out on your assumptions. Take an action towards that. If you feel like somebody is being abused, if you feel like somebody is being molested, take an action towards that. Listen, because whether you believe it or not, there are some long term effects of being molested, long term. And if you don't go to therapy, if you don't get help, there will be a lot of baggage you need to unpack as you are going through your life. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, my life was. No, it wasn't. I can sit here at 41 right now and look back at different situations and tell you how the situation I experienced when I was younger affected all of those situations. Every one of them, I could tell you. But I would not have been able to do that if I had not made the decision to unpack it. I would not have the relationship that I have with my mother um, had I not unpacked my baggage. I was unable to like see her point of view because I'm like, you're the mother. You're supposed to do all of these things. When in reality, yes, she is my mother. But the reality of it is there's some things that she has to deal with, that she had to deal with in her life that kept her from being a protector or kept her from being safety. Like we forget that we are all humans. Like sometimes we put people on pedestals and they're like, oh, they would never do fucked up shit to me or they would never do this. And then when the fucked up shit happens, now we have like reservations and then we look at people differently when number one, you already knew. You already knew that people, we know a lot of people just, you know, a thief is going to be a thief. You know, a thief is coming to your house. You know, you're going to put up all of your good shit. You really don't want them to come because you really don't want to put up your good shit, but you know, they're a thief. They going to, you know, a liar going to lie. You already know that. Me, I be giving people the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to tell you this, I do. I do. I give people the benefit of the doubt because I just don't think you always have to be, your entire life, you have to be a liar. I don't think so. I don't think your entire life, you have to be a thief. I think something happened where you became that. And that's your, hey, Trippy, how you doing? I think that's your go-to. I think that's your coping mechanism. You probably don't want to lie, but, you know, you just, you've been doing it for so long and nobody called you out on being a liar that you do it. I just chose uh after going through life. I think it was like I'm about to turn 40. I'm like I think that was the real reason. Like I went to therapy. I started going to therapy in like 28, 29. So pretty much all of my 30s was spent in therapy. And it was the most rewarding experience for me. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I was able to unpack so much shit, like unpack it, like unpack my relationship with my parents, unpack my relationship when it, or not my relationship, but unpack my experience when it comes to business or just even the belief about myself, unpacking all of those things because whether you believe it or not, like your childhood plays a part in who you are as an adult. Like if you take this, I'll give you an example, right? When we were growing up, we had every video game. We had like people used to think that we were rich, like not just bragging bullshit, but I'm saying like people used to think that we were rich. Like my mom would take in kids. My brother used to bring the football. Like everybody could just come to our house, and then my mom was like making sure she did all the girls' hair. She got haircuts. She did all of that, right? And then as we get older, like we're all grown now, like super grown. I look and like I would say to my younger brother and my twin brother, like they are the only two people that like stuck up with like the name brand stuff, all of that. Now, don't get me wrong, I love me some Converse. Don't get me wrong, though. But they're the only ones that stuck with that. And then I look at my brothers and I'm like, okay, like they are hard. They are super hard workers. They follow after the footsteps of my mother. Is what I'm saying, right? But when I look at myself, it's like I'm a hard worker. I'm a hard worker. But it's like I don't have that. Like to have the name, wake up every morning. Oh, I got to put on this. Mm-mm. I'm gonna put on something comfortable. If y'all be watching, I'm gonna put on a t-shirt. And I'm gonna throw on some basketball shorts because I'm all about comfort. When I got ready to cross over into 40, right? I didn't know I was gonna make it to 40, but when I got ready to cross over into 40, I said, you know what? I'm tired of carrying around this baggage. I'm tired of carrying around. I'm trying to feeling sorry for myself that I can't accomplish the things that I want to because I'm afraid to step past fear. I'm tired of feeling sorry for myself that nobody loves me, nobody wants me around, nobody cares about me. I'm tired of feeling those feelings that I only it only felt like that because I was unsure about myself. I had an internal battle, an internal struggle going on because like I went to school, I got degrees, I got certifications. Like I know that I can do these things. Like you probably sitting there, you watch it right now, you like, I know I can stream, write a book, I can do makeup, I could do hair, I could do massage, I could do Twitch, YouTube, I could do all of these things, but it's me that's stopping. You probably like, oh, I'm gonna do it when I get a good camera, or I'm gonna do it when I get a microphone. You got a phone, you could do it right now, but you know what's stopping you from doing that? That baggage, that insecurity, that low self-esteem. And then when you think about it, right, like just take a moment, just think about it, right? When I start to think about, hey J Car, when I start to think about myself, when I start to think like when I was in school, I went to predominantly white schools for the largest majority of my life, right? When I was in school, it was cool. It was cool to like be shipped to chapter 220, go out there with the white kids. It was cool. That was cool. But it was such a cultural shock for me. Like it was such a struggle because it was like, uh, I live in a hood, but I'm going to school out here, and I didn't ask to go there. I was just going to school, getting an education, doing what I needed to do so I can better my life, right? But then me going out there became something way bigger. Like the kids out there were just like, oh, you black, you like, so then they make you feel a certain way, and then you come home and you like live in the hood, and then now they make you feel a certain way because you go out there. And unbeknownst to me, it was causing me to feel like, okay, you know what? Let me turn me down. Let me turn me down and try to balance and figure out, play a role in life that I wasn't that wasn't my job. Like my job was to be the lead actress in my life. Like your job is to be the lead actor or actress in your life. We're not saying like in life overall, but we say in your life. Like no one can do what you're supposed to do. You probably got people in your family that you a barber, right? You probably got people in your family like, yeah, I'm the coldest one. But you already know, like you have the gifted hands, like you gifted. You can do all the designs. You don't have people lining looking like this. You go straight across. Like you are gifted, and you probably see people. I literally wrote a song, right, and it's called "Fade Away." I literally wrote that song because I, in myself, was seeing people do the things that I wanted to do and know that I should have been doing them. But I wrote a song and was like, you know what? Don't let it fade away. Like, can you imagine yourself feeling insignificant, right? Like you feel like shit. You feel like you don't matter to nobody. Nobody cares. But every time you speak to somebody, right? You either sharing, dropping gems, or you are encouraging them, or you are uplifting them to do something different, right? How is that possible? How is it possible that you are able to help everyone else, but you can't give that same measure of love and inspiration and trust to yourself? What I didn't know is that we don't give ourselves that measure of grace. I wasn't giving myself the same measure of love that I was giving out to people. I was too busy. That was something I had to unpack. Why do I have to be busy all the time? Because when you're busy, you don't have time to deal with, I was molested, and as a result of being molested, I began to internalize everything that happened to me. I began to act out, or I began to do different things just because I wanted somebody to say, hey, what is wrong with you? It wasn't like I was just out here throwing temper tantrums or anything like that, but I just wanted people to ask me what was wrong with me. And then, you ever had somebody be like, hey, how was your day? And your first response, oh, it's good. It was good. It was all right. But you really want to say, man, life is really taking a toll on me right now. Man, everything is not okay. I literally posted a post when I first started this journey. I was like, you know what? It is okay not to be okay, right? And I added this other part. It's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to stay there. Like if you know that you are not okay with yourself, it's not okay to continue to walking around being not okay. Now that you know that you are not okay, that's where you acknowledge, okay, I'm not okay. Now, what are you going to do that you're not okay? For me, it was therapy. It was therapy, and I wrote a list of everything that I was like, okay, I'm no longer walking around with this. Hi, Famaka. Thank you for the follow, Luke. I'm no longer walking around with it. I don't care. I don't care if people be trying to like make me relive it. Guess what? I had to get to the point where I was comfortable, where I could just sit down. I literally, when I started this journey of healing and self discovery, I cried. It seemed like I cried for like people would say hi to me and I was crying. And at the time, I didn't realize, like all of my life, like I just thought, like, okay, it's okay to cry. Like you cry when people leave, you cry when somebody dies, you cry when you lose stuff, you cry, right? I literally said to myself, I'm gonna shut my emotions off. How the hell am I gonna shut my emotions off? I'm not gonna cry. People People never gonna see me cry. People never gonna see me sweat. Them never see me down bad. They never gonna see any of that, right? I lived by that motto for so long. I lived by that motto. When I got ready to cross over into 40, I was like, I don't give a fuck. I was on YouTube. I was like, y'all gonna see me cry. Y'all gonna see good days. Y'all gonna see bad days. Y'all gonna see everything. You know why? Because we don't see that. When was the last time you saw somebody you was with, like, you look at your partner, right? When was the last time you saw them cry? When was the last time you saw them hurt, sad, happy? Like, when was the last time we actually saw people showing emotion? For me, it was like, I don't want to be a robot anymore. Like, when I say robot, like, I was just going through the motions. I would be so busy where I didn't have time to cry or have time to think or have time to even. You're like, how did you not have time to breathe when you're breathing right now? But I didn't have time to just sit back and be like, man, today was a good day. Or smell the roses or listen to the birds or even watch the rabbits if they walk, hop across the. I didn't have time to do that because I was so busy. I made sure that my life was so busy. But when I got ready to walk into 40, I said, fuck that. I don't care what I have to do. Peace and happiness is how I'm going to live. 40s. I don't know. I'm not going to talk about my 50s yet, but 40s is going to be peaceful and I'm going to be happy. And in order to get peace and in order to be happy, I had to let go of that shit. I had to forgive not just the person that did the fucked up shit to me. I had to forgive myself. Forgive myself for feeling like I could have changed or I could have did something different. I know you probably like, yeah, you could have. But the reality of it is if I could have did something different, I would have. If you could have did something different, you would have. Like right now, you survived the global fucking pandemic. You probably got a vision board on your wall, or you probably got some ideas that you want to do. It's like, yeah, 2022, I'm going to start a trucking business. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then you see somebody else started, and now it's like, man, they took my idea, or man, I don't even know. When in reality, it's like if you know, and I'm gonna give y'all the whoopie go, but if you know every day you wake up in the morning, you're supposed to do something. That's what you're supposed to do. But we let like our insecurities, like I was real. I'm gonna be real. I always be real whenever I be talking to you. All right. Whenever like people be like, hey, we want you to come and speak. We want you to come and do this, right? There's an insecure part of me, like I know, like, I have the degrees, I have the knowledge, I have all of that, but there's an insecure part of me where it's just to be like, I'm gonna turn it down. And I'm gonna turn it down because I didn't like to speak. I would turn, turn so much stuff down. But now that I look back, it's like, it probably would have been that catalyst to push me past my fear, but I was just like, nah, I'm cool. We got, nah, I'm cool. I'm gonna sit over here. Hi, Trish. Happy Father's Day and happy Freedom Day, as Trish said. Happy Juneteenth to everyone that is watching that is a father or person of color that's celebrating. Happy that to you. Um, on this journey of self discovery, I figured out where that insecurity came from, and the insecurity came from being molested. And And the insecurity was that if people found out that I was molested or people found out something about me, that they wouldn't want me to speak or they wouldn't want to like have anything to do with me. And that was something that I realized that came from like I carried that forever. And then the moment I started talking about the shit that happened to me and sitting in it, like not waddling, not rolling around in it, but like sitting in it, like how did it make me feel? Why did it make me feel? Like what could I have done? What could I not have done? Like going through all of that, allowing my body, allowing myself to be present in that, allowing the tears, allowing the anger, allowing all of that, right? Helped me. I'm smiling right now because it's something about that. Sitting in where you are. Like if you be like, damn, I hate my baby mama. I hope you don't hate your baby mama and baby daddy, especially not on Father's Day. But if you look at them and be like, I do not like them. What is it that makes you not like them? Because keeping it 100. At one point in time, it was something about them that you at least had a strong like about them because y'all wouldn't have a baby together. And it's not like I feel like people be in their mind be thinking like, oh yeah, we had a baby and that's what made us fall apart. No, 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 no. It was some things that happened in there. Like there's things that happens. Like take a job for example, right? I remember I used to work a job. Um, I worked at Popeye. I worked at Popeyes for 24 hours. Let me tell you why I worked at Popeyes for 24 hours. I worked at Popeyes. I worked like second shift, I think it was. And so, at the end of your shift, you ready to go home. They told me so and so didn't come in, so you got to stay later. Who the who on my journey of healing self discovery? I realized that I don't like for people to tell me what I can and cannot do. I realized that. See, I'm sharing. I'm acknowledging things. I'm sharing with y'all. So who the fuck are you gonna tell me that I can't go home? I don't. I'm working this job because I want to work this job. You can't tell me I have to stay to the over. It's enough for me. I quit that job. Gave them that uniform. Y'all can have. You can have this. And that's why you got managers. And then I started to think about a lot of the situations. I'd be like, nobody's gonna tell me what I can and cannot do. A lot of that, I going to therapy begins to like it's like a control thing. It's like I don't want you to feel like you got that control over me because the person who molested me was somebody in a leadership position and they had control. They controlled the people that was they controlled everything. You're not gonna take this away from me. That's how I felt. Now, as I'm walking through life, you could say and do whatever you want. It means nothing. My insecurity levels is like I'm gonna say they small. I still got some insecurities, right? I still got some. Yesterday I was literally shaking, like sitting on that panel, like how the hell did I get here? How did I get to the point where I'm sitting on a panel with people that have traveled across the world, like they name rings in the state of Wisconsin, in the city, like in the industry, they name rings, and it's me, like sitting here with them. And then I started to speak to myself, like unpack a part of unpacking baggage is being able to speak to yourself confidently. Like that small voice in the back of my head was like, you worked hard, you bust your ass to be here. Not only did you bust your ass in school, you be out in the streets, you be talking to these artists, you be understanding, you be reading, you be going to. It was telling me all these things, and y'all see, like I just did, I started to smile, like yeah, you know. You ever get ready to talk to somebody, and I have to bring it to relationships. You ever get ready to talk to somebody, you see them, and people in your ear like, out of your league, never will talk to you, and you start to be like, shh, please, watch this, and you go over there. There's something about that, right? You can even be shaking while you're going over there, like, man, I gotta do it now, cause I done hopped out here. Listen, since I've been on a journey of healing and self discovery, everything that like situations that I turned down before because I didn't have the confidence or because my insecurities got in the way, now it's like, okay, we gonna give you the opportunity to do it again. So these opportunities are coming back around, and I am so grateful. I am so grateful for making the decision to go um, on a journey of healing and self discovery, and I'm so grateful for the universe for like full circle, bringing it back around. And this time it's like, okay, yeah, of course I'll. I'm sending emails and headshots and bios and all of these things, and it's just like I knew one day I will get to the point where I will be, hey, we want you to come to California to speak on behalf. And this time I'm like, I don't have a fear of flying, so I can't really go because I'm afraid to. No, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go get on that plane. Let me tell y'all, I had a fear. Like I had a complete fear of flying. Like complete. Like I would be good before I get to the plane, but I get to that plane, oh, it's like I'm about to die. My heart start racing. I can't breathe. I can't think. Like all I hear is woo 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 in my ear. And then I just was like, as I'm unpacking shit, and it was just like my fear of travel. I understood where the fear of flying and all of that. I understood where it came from. And once I allowed myself to sit in that, and it was just like, here's how I'm going to cope, or here's how I'm going to make it through this flight. I usually I would have me a little drink, but I don't drink no more. But I made a playlist. I found albums where when I'm listening to them, I feel calm, I feel like relaxed. So what I did was those albums or those songs that I made a playlist. So when I get ready to go on a plane, you download your playlist. I have my headphones on, and as I'm walking to the plane, I'm not gonna say like it don't that anxious moments. It happens, but I'm in my mind. I'm like, you are safe, you are okay, you good. There's nothing gonna happen to you, even if it does. You good. And I walk on that plane, and I sit in my seat. The first time, the first time after therapy and going through all the first time I got on the plane, I would never sit past the first 5 rows on the plane. I'm never like I was either when I fly Southwest, I have yet to fly first class anywhere, but 2022 that's my goal. But I would never sit past the first 5 rows. Right, my first time. After I done unpacked a lot of baggage, I realized where my fear come, all of that. I literally sat like 5 rows from the back of the plane. I didn't hyperventilate. I was good. I actually went to sleep and I woke up. We landed. I woke up and I was like, oh my God, I'm cured. Not really cured, but I'm like, okay, that worked. Now that was one leg of my flight. I had a whole nother leg. So I was like, okay, let me do the same thing. And this time I sat in the second to last row. I say, this conquering your fears or overcome this anxiety, like this thing is like you have so much, like so many reservations when you're on this side. It's like, no, I don't want to do that because then I'm jumping out there. What if I fall? What if I don't? What if I have a severe panic attack? And then I was just like, you know what? Let me go ahead on this other side. And on the other side, it was so much calmness. It was so much peace. It was so much like, oh, I can't wait till I get ready to fly back home because I'm good. I'm good. I know it wasn't like, okay, I'm completely like, okay, because there's still that little thing. And I know like it's not going to happen overnight. But me taking those steps, it brought my anxiety level down a whole lot. Like if you've ever flown with me, you already know. Flown, went on a road trip, I'm telling you, like I would freak out. Like I used to, but now I'm good. because I figured out I got to the root. I got to the root cause of the travel anxiety. I got to the root cause of why it happened. And when you get to the root, it's like, okay, I know that this is why I have panic attacks. So am I just gonna keep on like, or am I gonna find something? And in this case, I found something that helped me travel. And I've been doing it ever since. And it's been great. I've been traveling. I haven't traveled yet this year because I had a major surgery, but the rest of this year, this is my plans. I'm planning to travel Colorado, Arizona, California. I want to go international, but we got to make sure this whole pandemic thing is like good before I do that. But unpack your baggage. You survived the global fucking pandemic. You survived. Last Last Sunday we talked about you survived, now what? You survived. If you are not taking into consideration, this is the 6th month of 2022. If you have not taken into consideration that you have survived, if you feel like you've been miserable your entire life, the fact that you can acknowledge that is one thing. The second thing is, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Next week I'm going to talk about understanding the LGBTQ plus community, mainly because this is Pride Month and it is my birthday, and that's how I'm going to end June. But I wanted to talk about those things because people carry shit. Like, we carry shit. We carry good relations, bad relations. We carry positive words, negative words. We carry shit. Sometimes we don't intend to carry it. Like, we're not trying to carry it, but we carry it. And the most important thing that someone should say to you, and if they haven't, I'll be the first to say it to you, put that shit down. Put it down. If you realizing that you're eating, like you eat when you're sad or you eat when you're stressed, put that shit down. If you smoke a lot and you start to, oh, I gotta go out and party all the time, like, I'ma say it. It may be controversial, but hell, I don't give a fuck. I'ma say it. If you partying all of the time, you're trying to cover up something. Again, I said I'm not a therapist. I'm not any one of those things. There is a therapist in this room right now. But I'm going to tell you, like, you're trying to cover up something. There's something that you're trying to, like, smoke, drink, sex. You're trying to get it off of you, but it's not going to work. You got to talk about that. You got to, like, sit down with yourself. I'm not saying you got to verbalize and tell the world, but you got to talk about that, because the things that you don't acknowledge, or the things that you don't deal with, they're going to keep coming back around. Why do I keep dealing with the same type of people? It's because you haven't dealt with that thing. They say, people be like, oh, opposites attract, but I began to realize that I was attracting, you heard people say, oh, I attract broken people. I was broken. I was real life broken. And I was trying to use work. I was trying to use, like, every other thing, everything outside of me as a way of coping with it, when I had to sit down and be like, listen, we're not going in the fort. We're not going in the 40. If I have to sit down in a room in the bed and not do anything but just deal with my past, that was like 39 years worth of shit that I just had to figure out. So I took a piece of paper, I wrote down every fucking thing that was in here and in here, and I started checking shit off. When I when I was, you know how you think, like, oh, it's just, my mama used to call me a bitch every day when I was growing up. I was like, oh, okay, I talked about it. Now that's it. No, it was way deeper than that. Like, when I started, when I started going through the journey, right? This was this one moment stuck out to me. It was like I was 8. I was 8 years old. That's when I first started getting molested. I was 8, and I was in the shower, and I just broke down. I was getting ready to cross into 40, and I was in the shower, just like minding my business. I got my list. I'm just minding my business, and it was like my 8-year-old self. My 8-year-old self came to me, and I just out of nowhere said, "I'm sorry." And then when I tell you, you ever see a scene on a movie where like the people are in the shower and they just like something really bad happened to them, or they just like breaking down? Like I balled up, like in the fetal position in the shower. I was crying so hard. Like it wasn't like, oh man, my life is over, cry, but it was like I needed to hear those words. It was like I needed to hear myself say those words. And ever since it was like a trickle effect. It was like the doors opened up and I was able to see like clearly like everything in my life that happened, and it was like, okay, you know what? I'm sorry for that too. I forgive myself, or you are loved. I love you. You do you look? I was saying this when I started my journey of healing and self discovery. I realized just observing people, people don't look at themselves. Like people don't look in mirrors. Like they look at themselves like, okay, let me fix my eyebrows. Let me make sure I don't got no boogers in my nose. Let me make sure my beard is. They fix themselves, but they don't look like look at yourself. When I began to look at myself, and I just like, I've been having more of these moments where I just like when I think like when I made that decision to cross over into 40, like letting shit go, like is that peace, like the calmness, the happiness. Like it's not anything outside of me that is making me happy. It's just like I remember a time where I couldn't breathe. Like like you're breathing, you're watching this, you're listening to this, you're breathing, but you know, like as you are breathing, there is something there. Like some people call it an elephant sitting on your chest. Like you got so much on your mind. There's something there that you can't breathe. Like you probably like, damn, I got a bill to pay. Like right now, people is like, damn, gas is $5, and I gotta go to work this week, and I ain't got enough money to get back and forth. But if you just take the time, like you trust yourself, like you know you have never let yourself down. You probably have, but you have never let yourself down, right? The reality of it is that our bodies are built to protect us. And as we are growing up from young and we get older, somewhere in there, we are taught not to trust ourselves. We are taught to trust our elders. We are taught to trust our parents. We are taught to trust everybody else knows what's best for us rather than we know what's best for us. And then you get an adult, you go on a journey of feeling self discovery, you're starting to make decisions for your own self. What do? You start to think like, okay, well, my mom, if I do this, then people gonna look, or people gonna judge me. Like that's a big thing. That's a big thing. Adults worry about. We care more about people judging us than we care more about taking care of our mental health. Oh, I don't want to go see a therapist because then people gonna think something wrong with me. They gonna think I'm crazy. Listen, if you've been following my journey on any one of these social platforms, you could think whatever you want to think, but at the end of the day, guess who I'm gonna make sure is okay? Me. You could be like, dang, she told us she was molested. And you probably sitting there was molested yourself, but you was like, nah, I ain't turned out like that. But I guarantee you could look at your life and see how being molested affected situations in your life. I guarantee you, if you're a parent right now, you are so protective. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but you are really protective. You are very cautious where your child goes. Guarantee you are. Guarantee you. Somebody say something slick out the way. Somebody say something that it sounds like it could turn into something else. You are on it 100%. I don't blame you, especially in the world we living in with this internet and these people be. I don't even blame you. But it's unpacking that baggage. I I be telling people like, I think there's so much when I was growing up, two people you couldn't touch. I don't care who you was, what you did, what kind of notoriety. Two people, two classes or two groups of people you couldn't touch. You couldn't touch kids and you couldn't touch women. I don't know if that was just like a code that was built into me that I just knew like from the street, like the neighborhoods or whatever, you just didn't touch them. But now if you look at it like, okay, the first year, 2020, was in a lockdown. Nobody could go out. We couldn't do anything. Like kids were at home and there were situations that they were at home in. And we didn't know their stories. We didn't know half of the people don't be telling us their stories. They look, when they go outside, they look good. When they come on the internet, they look good. You look good. Like, oh, I never would have thought that was going on at their house because they look good. That's why I be saying like, we need to start being more real and transparent. Like I was thinking, like all of that time, like what about those kids that was living in households that there was domestic violence happening, and like school was their only escape, or school was the only way that they were going to be able to eat or talk to other people, or that made them feel like they were loved or people actually cared, right? Then think about the women or the people that was in those domestic violence situations and they were able to go to work and that gave them an outlet to breathe or feel free. Then I start to think, okay, 2 years, been 2 years we've been doing that. Like, did people get therapy? We back outside, we be outside, even real life outside. Did people go to therapy or how did people cope with those things? Now every time you look at the news, it's like a parent killing a child or a child killing a parent or a father killing the whole family. For me, it's like there's so much baggage that needs to be unpacked that people need to know like, hey, listen, it's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to stay there. Like if you are having thoughts about whatever, talk to somebody. I know we have this thing like I don't want to talk. I don't want my business out in the street. Listen, it's 2022. Your business is probably already out in the street. If you put a post up on Facebook, people already know what's going on in your life. You be talking to people already know. If you like, I don't want people to judge you. People judge people every day. They already judging you. It's Pride Month. If you have not decided to come out the closet, I'm not telling you to run out the closet. I'm telling you to do what's best for you. However, if you are holding on to the closet because people are talking about you, because your family gonna disown you because of all of these different things, let me ask you this question. Right now today, do you feel like your family is talking about you? If you already feel like your family is talking about you, it is time for you to free yourself. Free yourself. Free yourself. You have survived a global fucking pandemic. Free yourself. At any time, your life could have ended. Free yourself. It don't even have to be, you don't even have to be a member of the alphabet community. If you are in a situation that is not conducive to, it's not bringing you joy, peace, happiness, you don't smile every day just genuinely, it is time for you to free yourself. Free yourself. It is time to be free. You have been in a situation like you can look back at your life and be like, damn, I have experienced a lot of shit in my life, right? I literally said when I came back to YouTube, I said, I'm going to talk about shit. I go see Nurturing Conversations. I'm going to talk about shit that people don't want to talk about. Shh. We don't talk about family shit. I'm talking about everything. I was going to say, we'll talk about Bruno, but y'all notice they say we don't talk about Bruno, but spent a large majority of the movie talking about Bruno. But that's how life is. You worried about people calling you gay or talking about you or families disowning you. This I'm gonna say right. This is what I'm gonna say. Families got a lot of shit they need to unpack. A lot of shit. You been People be disowning their gay kids but acknowledging Uncle Pete who been touching the gay kids. And I'm not saying people are gay because Uncle Pete was touching them, but you know what I'm saying. Uncle Pete still could come to the barbecue and flip the ribs. He make the best ribs though. Uncle Pete could still come and he done damaged lineages, like generations. Uncle Pete done damage, but you will still welcome Uncle Pete to the barbecue. But your child who identifies as a member of the alphabet community cannot come. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't think I will ever get it. Actually, I don't even want to fucking understand it. I don't. But you have some nerve, you, not you, not but you, have some nerves to disown your child because they identify, they live and be, they are their true, authentic selves. Just so y'all know, I'm definitely gonna have a nurturing conversation about this, right? Because we're gonna talk about it next week too, because there's this thing of like, oh, everybody's trying to make everybody gay and all this stuff, but we don't never talk about how everybody be trying to make everybody straight. We never talk about that because that is natural, and I'm purposely doing air quotes. We got a lot of shit we need to unpack. People of color have a lot of shit that we need to unpack. White people have a lot of shit that y'all need to unpack. Y'all ever notice? Y'all ever notice how um every race, every race, Indian, Asian, Latin American, Black, French, Creole, every race, every colored person, and I don't just mean black, I mean everybody who is the opposite of white has either been in a concentration camp. There have been some kind of mass slaughter of them. Everyone. There is a lot of shit that needs to be unpacked. At first, I was talking about personal baggage, but now I'm gonna talk about baggage. There's a lot of shit. Like today is Juneteenth, right? Why do we have to celebrate being free when we were born free? That's some shit that needs to be unpacked. I um I was watching when Judge or Supreme Court Justice Ketanji, I think that's how you say it, was being elected, and they were talking about critical race theory. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know what the fuck critical race theory was. I was just like, wait, what is we talking about? But I went and looked it up. I said, are y'all trying to hold on? Let me make sure my lips is glossy for this because this is a nurturing conversation. Some baggage that needs to be unpacked. You don't want people to know that you were burning and lynching people. You don't want people to know that a white woman can say that somebody touched her or whistled at her. It could be a lie. It, it's been proven that it was a lie. And you go out here and you stringing not just grown men, you stringing people up on a tree, and you don't want people to know that you did that. But it's okay for us to know that y'all stole us from a land, or y'all came over here on a ship and oh we discovered America, but it was already people here. You don't want us to tell our history, but now you don't want your history to be. That's some baggage that needs to be unpacked. I just watched a video of a young man. He was like 15, 16, in the same neighborhood in which Trayvon Martin was, you know. These people threw rocks. He's 16. Grown men were walking up to him like, get out of our neighborhood. And I'm sitting thinking like it is fucking 2022. How could you have that much hate? That's some baggage that needs to be unpacked. How could you have that much hatred with somebody you probably never even spoken to? Never. You probably never even thought to let me have a conversation with you. You just see what you see on TV and movies and all of the news, and you just develop a whole thing about how a person is. That's some baggage that needs to be unpacked. And then not only that, you teach your kids. So like kids are like having hatred. How? How? This is why I be talking to parents like, okay, let me say this for clarity. I do not have kids. At this present moment, given the surgery that I just had, I will never be able to have kids. However, I have raised a ton of kids. I've raised kids who now have kids and their kids have kids. I've raised them like birth until now, sort of, kind of. So I feel like it's okay for me to tell you, like, it's important for you to have yourself as a parent together so that you don't, um, what is it, where you don't intentionally pass shit down to your kids, but you pass shit down to your kids. Like biases and stereotypes and shit like that. Like we don't even be thinking like we be doing that. Like we're gonna talk about this next week. Like religion teaches you to love and it teaches you to hate. But it doesn't directly sometimes teach you to hate, but it does. It does. It indirectly. And your feelings, your thoughts, your emotions become the people that are watching you, the people that are listening to you. It becomes their thoughts and their feelings and emotions. And they're at an age they can't decipher that right now. Like if you're a mother or you're a father and you talk about the horrible baby daddy, baby mama, like your kids don't need to hear that. You're an adult. That's something that you and the other person that you laid down to make that beautiful child with should be able to talk about. There are some things, some baggage that needs to be unpacked. If you're looking at somebody, you're probably watching this. I had somebody come in my Saturday Night Vibes last night, and they were like, "Hey, there's nobody here," and they had the laughing emojis, and I was like, "I'm sorry. Did you think that I was gonna not do it because nobody showed up?" I I'm going to do I'm talking about shit because somewhere in the universe, somebody, your kids, somebody in the universe is gonna watch this. Somebody is going to watch it and they're gonna be like, you know what? It's time for me to free myself. My family has been controlling my life my entire life. It's time for me to free myself. I I don't want to be in this arranged marriage. It's time for me to free myself. I had these questions about religion or about church or the temple. I have these questions and I feel like I should be able to ask them, but you're not supposed to question. Free yourself. Ask the questions that needs to be asked. It's time for you to free yourself. You survived a global fucking pandemic. I don't know if you, for me, that's serious. I fucking had it and almost died. That didn't take me out. This major surgery didn't take me out. It's definitely trying to keep me from living my best life, but I'm still gonna do it. I'm freeing myself. I have chosen happiness and peace. If it doesn't make me happy, if it doesn't bring me peace, I'm not doing it. I got this vocal thing going on, right? And I'm talking to my community. I'm gonna tell you, you need to get you a community, like people that you trust and people that you know gonna keep you lifted. When I went in my surgery, I didn't tell like everybody. I wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm about to go to surgery. In my mind, I meditate. Like I meditate every night and day. If y'all follow me, y'all see. But I meditated and I was like, I need to tell people that's gonna keep me lifted. And not just like holding my arms, but they're gonna keep me lifted. Like they're gonna keep me strong when I wanna just break down and be like, I'm gonna die because they say I got cancer, like they was gonna keep me strong. Like these people, I'm telling you, these people kept me lifted. They kept me so lifted. They kept me lifted. And it was so amazing for me because it was literally the first time in my entire life, 41 years, it was the first time I allowed myself to be loved on. So when I tell you I've been unpacking some major baggage, that was the first time I allowed myself to truly feel love. When I went into that surgery, they're willing me in there and they're talking to me. They're like, you're 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 surrounded. I was like, yeah, I I feel love. I was going in there. I felt love. I didn't feel fear. I didn't feel nothing but love. I felt like everyone that knew me, that loved me, was hugging me. Like they had all held hands together and they all came around me and I felt love. That's what I felt. And then on top of that, the song I asked them to play, they were playing. I if I would have if that would have been the end of my life, I would have went out feeling loved. And even after that, even to this very day, when you allow yourself to be loved, like, okay, you did some fucked up shit in your life. Okay. We all do fucked. I did fucked up shit. We all do fucked up shit, but that is no reason to deny yourself love. I denied myself love for so many years because I was holding that against myself. Why would anybody love me? Look at me. This happened to me. This happened to me. I did this. This. Why would anybody love me? I held that against myself. But the moment, sorry, the moment that I was like, fuck all that, I deserve to be loved. It is okay for people to love on me. Like, it is okay for me to be like, hey, I can't do this right now, or I don't know, or I need, like, it's okay. Like, that's why you have people in your life to help you. Like, when I came to that understanding, I unpacked that strong woman bag. I unpacked that shit like it's empty. I turned the inside out. I unpacked that. I felt love. I feel love. Feel love. I feel loved. I don't even have a word other than love to put there. I feel that. But I would not have been able to get to that point had I not start unpacking my baggage. I unpacked so much baggage where now, like, I'm not. They give you 8 weeks. They're like, oh yeah, 8 weeks, you'll be fine, right? I'm not a mental health professional or I'm not a doctor, but they was like, oh, 8 weeks, you'll be fine. I literally found myself being sad because it was like, you said 8 weeks, and I can't do the things that I once was doing, not realizing that I was only doing those things because I had not fully unpacked that baggage. I started unpacking it, but in these 3 months, I spent so much time just like sitting and planning and loving on myself and allowing people to love me and just looking at how far I've come. And now, this time next week, I will be 42. 42 years on this earth, and I'm happy. I'm not just telling y'all like I'm happy, but like I'm I am happy. Like I feel like I can breathe. Like there is no like I'm happy. I am at peace with I'm at peace with shit I never even thought I would be at peace with, but I'm at peace. I'm at peace with a lot of things. I'm not holding on to shit. Like when something happens, I deal with it in that moment and I resolve it and I move on. Somebody do some disrespectful shit, and I was the type of person that I wasn't gonna say nothing. Like I would just, whatever happened would just happen. I would never let people. I would never respond. I would never do none of that shit. It's 2022. If you bring it to my door, we gonna deal with it. We gonna handle it right where it is, and then we gonna resolve it, and that's gonna be the end of it. Like I began to look at different relationships, like people. Why was I your friend? Why are we even family? Whatever. Why are we? Why are you in my space? I wasn't going to the barbecues knowing that Uncle P is making that barbecue. I don't want nothing, none of that shit. I don't want it. Even if you decided that you want to associate with Uncle Pete, while you knew what Uncle Pete was doing, it's a no for me. It's what is it called? It's where you know what's going on, but you're just not trying to stir the pot. No, no, no. I need people around me that's gonna stir the fucking pot. We don't want nothing to burn over here. I want you to stir the pot. Stir it. And I'm over here stirring all types of shit because you know what? I refuse to let the shit that happened to me get down to the people that's behind me. I was talking to someone and I was like, have you ever sat down and really thought about the words generational curse? I sat down and I thought about it, right? And I was like, wait a minute. Something is only able to be passed down to a generation because it becomes a curse because no one has like stirred the pot. No one has come against it. Like no one is like, no, let me put my foot down. This shit is not happening anymore. Like we not gonna talk to the kids. We not gonna tell them they're gonna be big as a house. Like we not gonna lower their self esteem. We gonna build their self esteem. I was thinking, right, when I was going to the predominantly white schools, right, that gave me an opportunity to see. No, I wasn't seeing black people in those positions, like different positions or different opportunities, but it gave me the opportunity to see that I can literally do or be or go or accomplish anything that I set my mind to. And it was me that was holding myself back because I didn't want to be great and the people around me felt like they weren't being as great as me. At this time in my life, it's like, listen, I'm gonna turn my fucking light. I'm turning my light so fucking bright. Either you gonna be shining on the side of me, or you gonna have an umbrella to keep some of the X-rays or whatever. You gonna have an umbrella to keep that. You gonna put your sunglasses on or something. It's no more. I'm no longer dimming my light for anybody ever. I won't do it ever again. Ever. I'm a walk unapologetically me. That's ooh, unapologetically. Sorry, that was just another conversation we need to have. I'm gonna be unapologetically me. And I said that two times without even twisting. That's how I'm walking through life. I when I was on this journey, right, I was like, y'all done messed up. Y'all don't let me get past fear. Y'all don't let me find me. You let me, you know what I'm saying, y'all, it's like life, like situations, like you let me find me, you let me get to me. I knew one day like so much shit happened in your life, right? It's only to block you from being you. It's only to keep you so focused on all of the unnecessary stuff. But the moment you move all that unnecessary, you unpack that baggage, you gotta look at your closet. That shit is spotless. Like you gotta walk in, you can literally walk in, see all your shoes, it's all color coordinated, it's all organized. Now you out here killing shit. I said that to myself yesterday. I, I was just like, damn, I remember a time I would have turned this down because I didn't feel qualified. No, fuck that. I'm I'm overly qualified. I remember I applied for a job and they was like, "You're overly qualified." I was like, "What the fuck is overly qualified?" And it was like, "Oh, you'll have to pay me what I'm worth. So you'll give it to somebody who don't know they worth yet." And that's why I was like, you know what? In my life, yeah, no, never, never, ever going to accept below what I'm worth. You deserve better. You overcome obstacles in your life, you deserve to be happy. You overcome a global fucking pandemic. You can't see nothing in your life you overcome. You overcome a global fucking pandemic. You deserve to be happy. You deserve it. You want to be an entrepreneur, but you don't know where to start. I had a conversation with my brother, and he's like, I used to think that you need money to start a business. I was like, he's like, but no, you don't need money. You need resources. And I was like, come on. How do you get the resources? You talk to people, you network, you Google, you YouTube, your TikTok, your Twitch, you get on the internet. You see somebody that's doing something you want to do, you look it up, Google. How do I start a trucking business? How do I write a book? I mean, it's all kinds of, find somebody who wrote a book, somebody in your family. Let me tell y'all this. Like, I realize a lot of people be trying to gatekeep. That's the new word for it now. A lot of people be trying to hold on to stuff and like don't want to share information. But listen, if you want to learn how to do anything, right? If I can help you, send me a DM. My email is listed. Hit me up. I'm gonna help you. I don't do trucking or none of that. I don't do makeup. I don't do none of that. My lane is music and streaming. Those are the things that I do. But guess what I'll do? I will sit down at this computer and I will Google whatever you need help with, and I'll provide you with the resources. I will do that for you. I'm about seeing everybody win. He was like, if everybody wins, who's gonna lose? Who's saying somebody gotta lose? Why does somebody gotta lose? Why we all can't win? They was like, oh man, the Celtics lost. And I was like, actually, the Celtics actually won because look at it, right? Now the people that was playing on the team get to renegotiate or they get to like, negotiate better contracts. That's going to bring sponsor brand deals. The coach, he probably only signed a 1 year, 2 year, I don't know, but he probably, look, anybody that's like coming into the league now be like, yeah, I want to play at Boston. Before people wasn't like, oh, I want to play at Boston. Like people wasn't like, oh, I want to play at Milwaukee, but we won a championship, and they was like, oh yeah, they got a championship team, and I want to go there. You unpack your baggage. What kind of baggage you talking about? Shit, I'm talking about relationship secrets you've been holding on. If you've been knowing that Uncle Pete been touching you, I'm talking about Uncle Pete. That's just a name that I put. If your name is Pete, I truly apologize. I'm not saying that you are. That was a name I put out, like Auntie Karen. Name I just put out. Because sometimes you like Uncle Pete, but it be Auntie Karens and cousin Karens that be doing shit to people too. If you've been holding that secret, let that shit go. Let it go. You probably like, oh, is it gonna mess up my family? Look at your fucking family. Ain't your family? Hasn't your family been messed up already? I don't want to add no more to it. Listen, it is 2022. If you have not made the decision to free yourself, you've been walking around with it long enough. Don't your shoulders hurt? Don't your back ache? Like, aren't you tired of carrying that around? Like, you got kids. Like, how would you feel if your kids started carrying around that shit? Like, I don't know. I be thinking, like, I be telling people all the time, like, don't let it go. I'm not telling you just to forget about it. No, I'm not telling you to forget about it. I'm telling you to accept it, acknowledge, accept, and do something about it. Do something about it. Do something about it. Won't you do something? Do something about it. You know that you are not okay. Don't keep just be like, oh, I'm not okay today. I'm gonna do this fucked up shit because I'm not okay and somebody gonna help me. For this one time, I'm gonna say, God help those who help themselves. You know that you're not okay. Okay, what do you need to do to be okay? Do you need to go to therapy? Do you need to start working out? Do you need to stop smoking? Do you need to start partying? Like, what do you need to do so that you will be okay? Figure that out. Do you need to stop being in the same environment? Do you need to stop going to the fucking barbecue? Whatever you need to do. Don't let nobody make you feel like you are obligated to come to things. Don't let nobody make you feel, oh, we family. You should just, no, you don't have to. That's the thing about being an adult. You don't have to do any fucking thing that you don't want to do. You don't have to. Oh, that's my family. Guess what? Let me tell you a secret. Nobody probably told you this, but I'm gonna tell you a secret. If you are born from a male and a female, right? You are born, you are birthed, you are on this earth, right? They will always be your family. They can disown you, they could do all of that, but they will always be your family. And guess what life gave you? Life has given you the opportunity to create your own family. You will find like-minded people. You will find people that believe what you believe, that move and shake in life the same way you move and shake. Okay, people will be like, "Oh, blood is thicker than water." I'm gonna tell you this, right? What do we need to survive? Yes, we need blood and water, but what is more prevalent? Blood and water is still prevalent, but at the same time, you can create your own family, and they love you just as much as your regular family. If you are afraid of people judging you, afraid of people talking about you, listen, they talking about you and they judging you already. So now what's your excuse? Yes, I did call it an excuse. That's an excuse. You know you want to do better. If you a father and you know like, oh, they not let me see my kids, they not let me do that. What do you need to do to be able to see your kids? What do you need to do? Man, maybe I could. What do you need to do? Especially if you are a father who didn't have a father. Are you repeating that generational shit? You don't want to do that, right? Because he was like, man, when I have kids, I'm never going. You don't want to do that. If you're a mother and your mother was fucked up, you gonna do the same thing to your kids, and then be like, well, my mother was fucked up, so or my father was fucked up, so no, you should want to be better. It's 2022. I'm not trying to do the same things that I was doing in 2020 and 2021. I'm trying to be better. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna come and I'm gonna talk about every fucking thing just to start conversation. People probably came in here and was like, she talking about unpacking baggage, or she talking about yes, we're talking about unpacking baggage. I done talked about baggage of America, baggage of races, baggage of sexes, religion, baggage. There's so much baggage we all need to process and let go. Maybe you're watching this and you're like, man, I want to start streaming. I want to be monetized on these different platforms, but I don't have the equipment. I don't have, again, if you have one of these, you have everything you need to be successful right in your hand. Everything you need. I am pretty proud of myself because I stayed according to my list. Stayed according to my list. I talked about everything that was pretty much on my list. I did good today. I'm see. It's like I thought about having having this conversations, like on a whim, and I was doing it for. I did it for a whole year before I was like, let me get more organized. Let me unpack how this nurturing conversation shit is gonna go. I unpacked it. I got all my topics. I do the research. I do all of that. And right now, I'm going to give you 7 tips. I'm wrapping it up. I'm going to give you 7 tips that can help you as you unpack your baggage. It is the 6th month. We have 6 more months before 2022 is over. I'm going to give you 7 tips that can help you unpack your baggage so that the rest of your year, it's not like the start. The end of it is not like the start. The first one is start meditating or mindfulness or just like sit in whatever the emotion or whatever the feeling or the trauma, sit there. Ask yourself the tough questions. Ask yourself why or how or when or why is this such a big deal for me? Ask yourself the tough questions. And I say meditate because you can put on music or just sit in a quiet room and light a candle, put some incense or something, just sit in that. Sit in that. You have to acknowledge that. So that should be like acknowledgement, mindfulness. Number 2, acknowledge, explore, and accept. Acknowledge the emotions, explore it. Why did her talking about, why did him saying my mama or her saying my mama, why when they said my mama that triggered something in me? Yeah, your mama is the greatest mama. Your mama could be the greatest mama, but your mama got some fucked up ways. But why did that trigger me? Why does that make me? Why when somebody call me a bitch, that make me want to fight? It's just a word. I know. I know. Why did that make me want to fight? Why, when I feel disrespected, do I react rather than respond? Because that's a different. There's a difference in between reacting and responding. So mind map those emotions. Figure out, okay, I'm angry. Why am I angry? What made me angry? Why did that make me angry? Number three, pay attention to the triggers. Pay attention to the triggers. You probably want to fight people because they say your mom, because maybe your mama is sick. Or maybe you and your mama didn't have a good relationship and you always wanted to have that. But when they talk about your mama, it's like, you don't know my mama. Maybe that is that right there that makes you want to fight. Understand why they happen, when they happen. I understood that my trigger getting on an airplane, I understood what it was. And then figure out ways that work best for you to use it. I'm going to say therapy. I'm going to say therapy. I'm going to continue saying therapy as long as I'm alive. Therapy. I'm not telling you to go for the rest of your life, but I will tell you to go at least 3 sessions. Therapy will help. I'm not saying it's going to be the end all, the end all. I will never tell you that it's going to erase everything, but therapy will help. Mental health right now should be your most important. Like that should be high. Happiness, mental health, happiness, peace, everything else should come after that. That should be the most important. If you're worried about people judging you, fuck them. They judging you anyway. They talk. Well, I don't want people to talk to. They talking about you anyways. Fuck all that. Your mental health should be the most important thing to you, especially if you are a parent or a guardian or taking care of someone. Number four is love on yourself. Love yourself. That same measure you be showing out to people, the same forgiveness you be giving to people, give it to yourself. Love on yourself. Have a self care day. Take yourself out to eat. Take yourself to the nail salon or go to a movie. Buy yourself coffee. Do sit and do what makes you happy. I know we all live busy lives. We got bills to pay. Right. But at the same time, take time for yourself. Watch that movie you always wanted to watch. Watch that show. Get caught up on that show that you wanted to watch. Do that. Love on yourself. Number five, follow your first mind. Follow your first mind. I know y'all don't have to, like, damn, I should have followed my first mind. Follow your first mind. Again, your body will not put you in a dangerous situation. It's built to protect you. Listen to yourself, explore what works and what do not work, and make sure you stick with that. Don't let nobody try to influence you. Stick with what works for you. Number six, I told you I got a whole list. Give it time. I'm telling you, I've been on a journey of healing and self discovery for the last 2 years. And while some of the things that I experienced, I was already in therapy. I told you all of my 30s was spent in therapy. So it didn't happen overnight. It was just, I went to therapy from 28, 29, all the way up until, right? Give yourself some time. Be graceful with yourself. If you learn to lie, you've been lying all of your life, you ain't gonna stop lying overnight. You're telling major lies, you might come down to like little white lies. But it'll happen overnight. Like once you be conscious of it, like, oh my God, I was about to tell a lie, and I'm not gonna lie. Like I'll be telling people, it was like, oh, you a liar. I was like, no, 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 no. If you, I want to say this right. If you, I'm gonna give you 30. I think once you get to a certain age, I'm gonna say me. I'm 41 years old. I have no reason to lie. None. I be telling the truth all the time. I'm gonna tell you why I be telling the truth all the time. I'm not about to be sitting out here trying to remember the lie that I told you. Then I done probably told somebody else something else different. Now I gotta remember those two. It's a no for me. That's too much. Again, happiness and peace. That's where I'm at. I'm not trying to remember no lies. I'm gonna tell you the truth. If your feelings get hurt, we could talk about it. We gonna talk about it. That's it. We gonna talk about it. If you decide you don't want to talk about it, hey, I love you and I appreciate everything that you have ever done for me ever in life. But hey, we just not at that place no more. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with losing people. I'm cool with letting people go. I'm cool with it. Before I would try to hold on to the last string, and as the string was unraveling, I'd throw another string up there and try to tie it. Now, let that shit fall. I don't even care. Give yourself time. The emotional healing is a process. Physical healing is a process. They told me 8 weeks. I'm telling you, I was on the doctor's ass. Like, yeah, you said 8 weeks, and I'm looking down at my scar, and it's like it's not really a scar. It's like scarring. And I was like, oh, I thought I was gonna be good. I thought it's a process. And then they was like, oh, you don't want to move too much because you can get a hernia. And I was like, wait, hold on. Let me dial this back a little bit because the last thing I already got a beautiful. I was gonna say Frankenstein, but it's not Frankenstein, y'all. It's actually really beautiful. This is how are you saying a scar like a incision is beautiful? It's beautiful because it's gonna forever be a reminder of the time I could have died on March 18th, 2022. I could have no longer been able to go live, be able to talk. I will always remember that. And that will be something that I look at and it's like, you have to live every fucking day like it is your last. And every day since March 18th, 2022, I've been living it like it will be my last. And if it is my last, I'm going to end this the way that but let me get to number 7. And this is important. This is something I talk about every time I've previously talked about it. I'm going to, again, talk about it for the rest of my life. Consider getting help. We all want to have a safe space where we can talk, where we can just be, where we can just let back and let loose, kick out. Consider getting help. Go to therapy. You don't feel comfortable talking to your bae, your boo, your friend, your homegirl, your bro. Consider going to therapy. And that's going to help. Again, it's not going to take away anything. It's not going to, I'm no longer going to remember the bad shit that happened. No, it's going to show you ways how you can deal with that. Besides smoking, drinking, eating, uh, buying, um, all of the different things that we have been like coping. That's how we've been coping. It's going to teach you a better, more positive, more creative way to navigate your life. So I'm gonna give you the 7 things again. 1, mindfulness, meditation. 2, mind map your emotions. 3, pay attention to your triggers. 3, pay attention to your triggers. 4, love on yourself. Love yourself. Number 5, follow your first mind. Listen to yourself. Listen. If yourself is telling you not to get in that relationship, not to take that job, not to get in that car, not to get on that plane, not to be involved, not to respond. Listen to yourself. Number 6, give it time. Again, emotional healing is a process. Give yourself time. And number 7, consider getting help. That is all I got. I want to thank you for coming over and hanging out with me for this Nurturing Conversations podcast. I am your host, Chelle, also known as Chelle, also known as Midwsthumnbrd. Um, I hope that I have said something that encouraged you, inspired you to be free, to live life beyond the walls of fear, to get out of your comfort zone, to start something you've been wanting to do for so long. I hope I have encouraged you to do that. That's all I got. Remember that it is important for you to use your words. That is the only way that anyone will ever know what you are feeling and what you are thinking. I will never let a live video vlog or anytime you see my beautiful face and these gorgeous dimples go out without me telling you to love yourself. Know yourself. Trust. trust yourself. And for the love of humanity, just be yourself. You are so very much welcome, Tamika. Um, I'm going to share this with you because next Sunday is my birthday. Starting Friday, I will be doing a 42-hour live stream. When I turned 40, I did a 40-hour live stream and it like released, it opened up, it pushed me past fear in my comfort zone and opened up a world to me. And now that I'm walking in that world, I have something else that I just need to like push myself past. And so I'm doing a 42-hour stream. I will be, the main stream that I will be doing will be on Twitch, but I will stream on YouTube and I will stream on Facebook. I will be streaming on all of the platforms like throughout the 42 hours, but the main one that I'm going to be streaming on will be Twitch. I will hope that you will tune in. I'm still going to have nurturing conversations on Sunday, and I'm still going to have um, Saturday night vibes. I'm just going to be streaming for 42 hours. I'm doing everything. I'm literally doing everything that I've been saying that I could do. I'm going to do it not just in the 42 hours, but I'm going to do it. I'm putting myself in a place where there's no excuse. There's no excuse. I wouldn't be able to do it. So I'm doing it 42-hour stream next weekend. Come by, join me. If you have songs that you want to hear, hey, I'm doing all of it. I'm going to be live doing all of it. For 42 hours, I'm going to be live. And then I'm going to celebrate my birthday with y'all. We're going to talk about understanding the LGBTQ. I'm probably call it understanding the alphabet mafia. I don't know. But we're going to do that. Again, thank you all for joining me, whether you are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, whatever platform you are on. Thank you. I truly appreciate it. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to follow. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, hit that notification bell. I love you, and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you. Until next time. Peace.